Ding, ding, ding.
Call meeting order by pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adopt the agenda.
I have two things that I gotta add to the agenda tonight. Under old business, we need to remove a liaison for the ambulance because we don't own the ambulance. It got on the agenda, I think, back in January when I was gone, and we assigned Heather Edgington to it, and we need to vote on taking that back off.
Don't we have to have someone? They're missing a city member on the board, because there's supposed to be representatives from city council and then each.
On the ambulance?
Yeah.
Erin said that none of us are supposed to be on the ambulance. She goes,
Well,
"Why
each
is
of the
that?"
townships are on it.
Yeah, every city is supposed to delegate somebody, so the townships each has someone, and then the city of Spring Grove, the council member is supposed to be on it.
Cause they haven't been on it.
Heather's been on it. Heather was on it for the last, and that's, actually Dan just asked me about, he didn't know who our representative was gonna be.
I'm gonna have to ask her about it, cause she's been here since 2011. She goes, "Why do we have this?"
Well, each
Every
township
town
member.
has to have somebody,
Yeah.
like, that's what
Cause
the,
apparently we haven't.
the Spring Grove ambulance board is made up of,
Okay.
all,
Well,
each of the townships in the Spring Grove city.
if we could table that one till next month, till I find out more on it, cause they were all telling me in the office, I don't know why that's, we've never done that.
I know each township has, like, Wilmington's is Todd.
But that's township.
Every township and then the city, because it's a board for,
Okay.
because they have their own independent board.
Alright, I'll ask on it, but the girls in the office were all saying we've never done it. So I'll have to look into it. Okay, so we'll leave that for now to next month, and then if needed, we'll add it. And then to new business, number 18, to add, Kraus and Anderson. They have 3 different asks that we can get to it once we get down there.
I see that. So are they Rochester Cross or the Cross?
And, oh,
So they only knew on the start at 6 is,
Madison, Wisconsin.
okay, so they
But
can
we'll
get,
talk about that when we get to it.
so they can get home sooner.
Yeah.
And then the wagon train thing, is that to use the parking area too, along with it?
They already have everything, this is new to use the showers,
Okay.
so they already have everything else they need. So that's it, if somebody wants to adopt the agenda with those additions.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda with the 2
Okay.
additions.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Alright, consent agenda.
We just need a motion to accept it.
I'll make a motion.
Second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Open forum. Anyone wishing to speak, has 2 minutes if you're not on the agenda. Okay, old business. DPI letter.
BDPI denial letter, we were trying to get our lots, our EDA lots out on the east end of town, we were trying to get our streets paved with curb and gutter, and, we were denied that grant. So, we had half of it budgeted if we got the grant, and if we didn't get it, then we were gonna go back this year to do dust control on those roads out there. So, we did.
Okay, I wanna clarify why the grant wasn't accepted.
Rebecca said in a meeting the other night that, we needed a new business going in out there. But if you read the letter, it wasn't, there was a lot of missing information. But they said even if you turn around and fill it out correctly, we're still gonna deny it. So, we can try it again later.
housing development?
The council voted to move forward as pending funding, and right now, we don't have any current funding put towards it, so it may be something that we look at next year. Unless we come up with a grand plan for it.
Is there any grants out there for something like that that we could?
Yes, there is, and Rebecca did apply for one.
New business? You need a motion on any of that?
No, it's just information. The audit presentation we're not doing tonight. They sent me a message today that they didn't get it done, so they're gonna do it in May, so I'll add that to next month's agenda.
Okay. Childcare and daycare center, after that, assuming following up with the meeting last week. Anybody got any?
Yeah, what's updates on that?
We went today and looked at the building. Eric came to walk through quick with us, and I had Darcy Thorson to walk through it just to make sure things are up to code. And the only things that she can come up with that may need to be done before reopening is a really good cleaning, which we already kinda knew that. A good cleaning, repainting possibly, and each room has a certain percentage that has to be carpet. They have carpet in there, but it's old and outdated, and she's like, if you're gonna redo it, you might as well put the new carpet in before you open it. But otherwise, she said everything looked really good. And if we had her come in today and look at it, it doesn't mean that she's opening the daycare center, she just has the knowledge of what needs to be in a daycare center. And so she said, whether I come back and run this or not, I think before anybody buys it, she wanted to look at it and make sure people knew what they were getting into before buying it.
Who foots the bill for this new carpet and all that?
We haven't got that far yet, because we have our task force meeting Thursday night.
Thursday.
And then after we get that stuff figured out, like I mentioned today, if we have like a community cleanup day where people come in and clean, I think a lot of people would be willing to do that, or maybe come in and paint, or if somebody wants to donate, like a flooring company, if they wanted to come and donate, instead of giving money, maybe they'd come put the carpet in there. Like, there's a lot of ways, because we haven't even started fundraising yet, whichever way it goes, so,
I want to clean the fridges now.
yeah, they were pretty nasty,
Yeah, don't know much. That one don't open one of them.
yeah.
Did you open one?
Yeah, we opened the one that hadn't been opened yet, and that was worse.
I
Well,
can't
they-
smell and I could smell it.
I said, you can throw that and I will buy the takers and a new one.
I was gonna say,
Before you
you're
put anything
better off
back
with
in
new
there.
refrigerator.
Yeah, it was pretty nasty. But yeah, we have our meeting on Thursday and we have a couple options we're looking at. One of the options would be if the city were to take it over and rent it out, kinda like Mabel does with Darcy Thorson. Or we could leave the city out of it and have a 501c3 group form, and that they could have their own board, they can do their own fundraising, and the city would stay out of it. So there's kind of two different scenarios we can look at with it. Brian and I already have some verbally donated funds that local business owners are willing to donate, and that's before we've even started fundraising, so I think people in the community would support it, we just need to find a way to figure out what direction to go to get it open.
I think we need to look at it as a city, open-mindedly, because from the research I've done is a lot of towns are going this way. And I think if we kind of step aside and just don't do anything, and that building gets turned or converted into something else, in 5 years when every city is doing this, what's it gonna cost to try and get something like that back, you know?
I agree, we better grab it while we can
Yeah.
before we lose it.
And how it all works out in detail, that's, I mean, we gotta figure that out, and I think that's what the task force will help us do a lot of. You know, we got people willing to put in the footwork, it's just coming up with the right numbers, so.
Especially if you can get it at that lower price you were talking.
I know-
Otherwise, they gotta stand at that other price.
The problem with getting city involved in businesses, some people view it like the city shouldn't be bailing out failed businesses. we just got out of the liquor store. A lot of people thought that the city should be running the liquor store, and now all of a sudden we're back to trying to open another business. But Brian has a great point that this is kind of a unique situation because we need places for people to bring their children. We gotta keep our numbers up in school. Like, this isn't a city problem, but it's becoming a huge city problem, and I guess if we're able to help them out, there's nobody else that I know that's knocking on that door to try and open it.
And I think we've gotta get out of the mindset of 20 years ago when daycare wasn't a national problem. And now it is a national problem, and it's even a worse problem in the state of Minnesota due to stuff that goes on in St. Paul, but I'm calling around and asking other towns and just looking into it. A lot of towns have just buckled down and said, we have to do something about childcare. I mean, I don't get where it's,
A lot of other towns also provide resources to their in-home daycares in town too, though.
That's-
And we are lacking in that as well.
yeah. And I think that's what this task force could do, is if we get that 501c open, that's not just taking care of the daycare center. I think it's a general help all the daycares too. You know?
I mean, I just don't want us to lose sight of the fact that we have some very valuable in-home daycares in town that are doing a fantastic job with zero help from the city.
Yeah.
And for us to like put all of our gump behind this project to get a daycare center open is almost like a slap in the face to all those in-home providers that have worked really hard.
But on the flip side of that, we just own a building and we're getting rent paid to us.
Yeah. Like
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but it's not like, yeah, we are hoping to get it open, but somebody's still bringing their business into it and paying for it.
I don't wanna, in-home daycares, they're great. But we gotta, I just wanna look at this as what other towns are doing. You know, we should, not every town is doing it, but I think eventually in 10 years, every town will have a part to do with some kind of childcare in towns. And if we make that decision, then what's it gonna cost? I'm thinking of this childcare as like infrastructure. It's like a pool. It's not making us money, but it brings people to our town. You know, that's the way I'm looking at it. And there's a lot more to go into this than just saying where you're by the building. I understand that, so. We don't need to make a motion on anything, do we?
No, it's just, talk about it if anybody has anything to add to it. We met with the EDA down in Decorah, and they're saying this is the biggest economic development issue that's going on today, and we need to be acting on it. And they are all over helping us out down there. And they even mentioned they may possibly not hold it to them. They may even donate to us to get it open because we're impacting them down there. They have a huge waiting list from all the people up in this area that have nowhere to go. So they just said, we're trying to help you out because we got our feet planted in the ground and now we need to help people around us, so. They've been wonderful to work with.
Well, that's good. We need daycare, and if this, so we're short, I mean, you know, we need daycare, so that's gonna open up a lot of places for kids. These in-home ones, they must be full now, ain't they? So, I mean, so we need it regardless, whether, and any of them in-home ones, there must be grants or something available to them, or somebody can point them in the direction of if they need help to, how to get help.
That's what I'm saying, like I feel like we need to also put a focus into helping them as well.
Right,
I mean, I got a baby coming next month and there's no daycare around, so.
Right at City Hall. We run the SAC program at City Hall.
Perfect.
We're hoping when this opens too, that we'll have a SAC program, because there currently isn't one at the school, so. I have an employee every day that's late for work and it's just, it's the way it is, because they gotta drop their kids off at school, there's nowhere to put them. So, I mean, you just, and then after school, sometimes I have 2 employees right now, have no daycare, so their kids come to City Hall after school. And it's working just fine, but
That's not
I-
ideal.
it's not ideal. I mean-
I could send it on you.
Yeah, but people, parents have to do what they gotta do to go to work, and we're a perfect example right at City Hall every day.
Yeah.
Well, it's not every day, twice a week, but,
I think there's a really good model that I've kind of looked into that Laverne, Minnesota did. And they kind of, you know, they did fundraising and they actually ended up, I think it was an old call center that the city had got their hands on. And I wanna say it was like almost 3 million to get the building, then they had grants, but the city, I think they, somewhere between $2.5 to $3 million into the building, and then the rest was fundraised, but they set it up just as we need this for the town, you know, and they're a lot bigger, they're 5,000 people, I think, but I just,
it's actually not too many more people than what we got, and for how much money they raised it for.
yeah.
So I'm assuming after our meeting on Thursday, next month's meeting, we'll have more information to bring back to the council to, probably at some point, we're gonna have to make a decision if the city is gonna go for this, or if we'll find out on Thursday what, cause we're putting everything out, and everybody's gonna look through and try and figure out what the best route is. And then we'll bring that to council next month, to inform me on what we figured out, and everybody can vote on it, ask questions.
So we should be able to start moving on something by June or July, hopefully, huh?
Yep, one way or another, hopefully, yes.
Okay.
If we go the 501c3 route, I already have all the paperwork ready to go. So if they decide we're going this route, I'll be like, pick your name out. Put a name on there.
Was his name, the big, Mitch? Was he
Yes.
the one that stood
Yep.
up there?
Yep,
He made a good, he said it perfectly how I think this 501c should go, is they want to help with daycare center in Spring Grove, get something figured out, and then keep going, keep fundraising to other towns, see what we can do.
mhm.
How big can we make it, you know?
But no, if you go the 501c3 route, that's not the city involved. That's their route.
Yeah, but we could use them as a fundraising, as a place to put money to give to the city.
Yes, I believe so. So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about on Thursday night to figure all this stuff out, but,
Okay, you got it figured out.
hey, we'll hash it out, it might be a late meeting.
Okay,
Alright, Tim? Engineering?
Yeah, so before you use the engineering agreement to put together plans and specifications and then work through construction for 2025, 2026 street projects. So there's kind of 3 main parts to that. 5th Avenue Southeast, where we already have plans together. But with that, would be re-engaging with Gunderson and with the assisted living. There was discussion when that project moved forward about 4 years ago of potentially raising about 200 feet of the road to help with the crossing between the 2 units. The city at that point in time said if we were to do that, that additional cost would be bore by them. So we would re-engage those 2 entities to see if they were looking to move forward with that option or not. The bulk of the work is really kind of in the northwest part of town, 2nd and 3rd Avenues, where we'd be replacing, we've got numerous water main breaks that have occurred. So we'd be replacing the water main. Sanitary sewer would stay in place. Would work with John to get that televised ahead of time. If we had any spot repairs or things that needed to be addressed, we'd do it at that point in time. But his preliminary indication is that we don't have any need to replace the sanitary sewer in that area. We'd also be looking to leave the curb and gutter in place, other than we're replacing the water lines. We're going to replace the services back to the right of way. So we tear out 10 to 20 feet of curb and gutter for each of those and then patch that back in. But really the curb and gutter is in pretty good shape in that area of town. So if you're replacing the water main, replacing the streets, 5th Avenue, and then one last piece of this was to put up RRFBs, the rapid flashing beacons. at the intersection of Division and Main. So, was I fast enough for you,
That
Janet?
was great. And,
Janet
so-
wanted me to drone on for an
I-
hour.
yeah, I told him, like, oh, cut you off. And you plan on doing that yet this year, part of it, right, and finishing the other, kind of like we did down.
We're gonna try to hit that target, depending on how everything comes together here, but potentially where we would have a fall bidding where we would come in and put the water main in, the utilities, and then let it sit over the winter time, similar to what we did on First.
What about them flashing lights, how, when you foresee that happening?
That would well, that would be a 26. That would be by the time we get them laid out and work through the permitting with MinDOT and then get them ordered. Those are typically a longer lead time to get those installed.
Any questions?
We need a motion or?
Yes.
Yep.
Make a motion.
You second it?
A motion to sign the agreement?
Approve it, yeah.
Okay. Okay,
All in favor, say aye.
I,
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Alright, carries.
Thank you.
thanks,
thank
Tim.
you.
Fireworks permit by Mensel's.
Oh, we got the swim center.
Oh,
Skip one.
swim center recommendations.
If you, we need a motion to approve these swim center employees.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Oh, second. There's a ton of them.
I
Yeah,
see that.
we're gonna have, we're gonna have a lot more.
That's concessions, lifeguards, everybody.
And, yeah, we'll have more by next month, plus we'll have summer rec too. We have a lot of employees in the summer.
I guess so.
Um,
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Fireworks and Mensel's permit.
Yeah, so I looked back to see how they did this the last time when their last daughter graduated. They want fireworks again this year for their next daughter's graduation, the Scott and Jackie Menzel. And it came to the board and they approved it, and then they had to get approval from our, fire permitter, who was Trent Turner. So if you guys decide you wanted to go forward, we have to approve it here pending the approval from Trent.
And where do they set them up? Behind their house?
Right, yeah, they have like that lot back there behind their house, that shed back there that used to be coming old rooms. They bought that, so they have the party back there and the fireworks back over the valley.
What kind of America is it? Do you need a permit to shoot off fireworks?
I wouldn't get one.
I make the motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All in favor, same sign, or say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Spring Grove Chamber asking for the waiver on log cabin fees for music and market.
Yes, we, every year in the past, since they've had music and market, since it brings so many people to town, they asked for the council or the city to waive the fees on Wednesdays, and it's been included every year. We just have to get it approved if you wanted to get them for this year.
I make a motion to approve it.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Friendship wagon, using the showers on Sunday AM at the Aquatic Center on June 22nd.
They're camping Saturday night on the grassy area on the side of the pool there when they come to town. And so they just asked if they could use the showers again on Sunday morning, but we just have to get approval.
Make a motion to approve it.
Only if they clean up the horse manure.
I think they will.
All in favor, say aye.
Right.
All opposed, same sign. Okay. Appoint new council liaison for swim center.
This was Heather's before, and so now it's vacant.
Not it.
Aye.
That's it, Morgan.
Why did I have a feeling that was gonna happen?
I need a motion.
Make a motion.
I'll second
What is
that.
this?
Congratulations.
Yeah.
You can say no, I think.
I mean, can I?
I think you could.
Hurry up and say all in favor.
Whatever. Is there more meetings for that too?
No.
Like, hardly
I'm
ever.
not signing up for more meetings.
It's pretty much if they have a problem with me, they have somebody above me to go to.
So there's probably a lot.
Yeah. So we get phone calls left and right.
Yeah.
Good, Jan.
Good thing I got summer off.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Might cover your season pass just to sit up there.
Perfect.
Alright,
Is that part of it then? She has a free pass.
Put
sure.
that in for me, would you?
Yeah.
Too late, I already made the motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Hey,
Aye.
Congratulations.
All opposed?
You're waiting for it, aren't you?
If you would've said no, I would've not voted. Request for the fest building to be open year-round in mornings for paintball and walkers, Monday through Thursday, 7 to noon.
I'll make a motion to deny that request.
Why do we need it year round? It's summer, can't we be outside?
That's just gonna cause more problems. People extra help to maintain it or to watch it, to make sure.
I'm more worried about the children that go
Yeah.
to school.
The
We've had a lot-
vandalism and
we've
anything
had a lot of
and everything,
vandalism.
you know? There's problems down the line, I think.
I know if I was a kid, there would definitely be bikes in there.
Well,
There's only a matter of
it
time
was
before
open when we
someone.
were kids.
Huh?
It was open when we were kids.
That's why we have rules now.
Wasn't when I was a
You
kid.
ruined it for everyone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Any more discussion on that, or?
We got a first or a motion.
To deny it.
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Do we have a set, like, what months we are gonna have it open?
It's always been January through March. In the winter months, so if people wanna go walk in there, they don't have to worry about falling on the ice and getting hurt.
So
So
like November, December.
we could possibly switch that.
I mean, I'm just thinking, like, it sometimes it's really crappy in those
Right.
months too. Mostly
Well, I
for,
think in the past. it
my
was
thought is
because-
mostly for the walkers.
Well,
that are-
before,
Festival of Trees.
they always had the festival of trees, so I think that's why
Yeah.
we didn't in the past.
Oh, okay.
But we
We
could
don't
look
have
at
that
the,
anymore though, do we?
but we could look at, well, and there's like the Christmas brunch be merry, I think.
But doesn't it always kind of depend on what the events are? I mean, if we have events during those times, they can't be open,
Mhm,
or
right.
it's not for them anyways, so.
Right. We could
Yeah.
look into it.
Or like cold weather roll once or whatever. October, what is it, October, May?
If you sign up for it. Otherwise it doesn't apply.
Okay.
I have a feeling they'll be bringing it back up at the next meeting, so.
Yeah. So I got a first and a second to deny.
All in favor? Or do you
Aye.
want- Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Alright. Recommendations to accept fire department truck operators. I need to list them, or can everybody see them?
Daryl Mumstead, Tim Watson, Keith Hoaxted, and Dean Wisty.
What is this?
They are just driving the trucks, they are not firefighters. But they need, so it's kind of the old retirees are coming back to help out because they need help driving the trucks. But the actual firefighters will be the ones out fighting the fires, these guys are just driving the water truck or whatever may be needed in the background.
pretty much just tanker drivers,
Yeah,
which on a Wednesday afternoon, you probably need those retired guys around, I would say, so. They've all, I don't know, yeah.
I would make a motion to approve that.
Second it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. DNR grant outdoor rec program submitted by Rebecca.
so Rebecca's worked on this the last couple of years, and this is kind of her baby, she's really good at these grants. And, last year, this one, I think it's, off the top of my head, I think it's like a $317,000 grant. And, we missed it by a half a point last year. So, she tweaked a few things this year, and I got my fingers crossed, hopefully this one will go through. It's for down at, this one's down at Trollscoven, where you put the paths, walking paths in down there, and, ADA compliant, playground sets, disc golf course, like, new water fountain, like, she's got a ton of stuff in sprucing up the park down there, so,
Is there any, matching funds with that, or do we
Yes.
have it?
yes, cause we have somebody that's, gonna be fixing up the old white log cabin down there, and that's about $60,000, so we do have matching funds, so I told her to go for it, so hopefully we get that one,
So this was just submitted?
yes. Yeah. Same thing with this next one here, the Compier feasibility study grant, another one that Rebecca just, submitted, I'm just gonna keep going down the line.
Yeah, what's
Um,
that one
The
about?
Minnesota, this one, that one, I believe that's the one that does a study about rental income. If I remember correctly. Minnesota Multi-Purpose Community Facility Projects Grants. That one was awarded for $500,000.
What's that going toward? Or
That's
what's that?
for the library,
Oh.
more money for the
Oh,
library,
yes,
to
right,
go
yep.
downtown.
Okay.
So, yeah, the grants have been on fire lately, so, which is good.
Yeah.
Taylor Family Farms Grant Program, Rebecca submitted a request for $10,000 for, disc golf course, waiting a response, so if one doesn't pan out, we got another one in the works. And say we get one, then we don't need the other one if we get it, but that's, Park and Rec has been working really hard to get a disc golf course, cause that's kinda blowing up all over Minnesota. So, we're trying to get that going here in Spring Grove too. Community roadside landscape partnership program application, that's a lot of people saying that we're getting new trees and plants along Main Street that have been damaged. Like, we have one tree by Eric shot the guy hit by a car. That one would be eventually replaced along with, we had a storm last year that took, I think, 4 or 5 trees out along Main Street. So we're,
Isn't that nature just saying that your trees aren't supposed to be alongside the road?
yes, possibly.
Why would you
So-
plant a tree in the middle of a sidewalk?
We can still submit a claim on that.
I have, but we have to get something to replace it before they can do anything, so I might throw it in with this. If we get this, then, cause they're not very easy to work with.
I know, I do it every day.
Yes, yes, cause I've been trying, but, so we're waiting to hear back on that one. SHIP grant, I applied for that. Applied for a bunch of stuff up at the basketball, pickleball, tennis courts, and I did hear back on that you kind of apply for everything you want, and sometimes you get it, and sometimes you just get bits and pieces of it. So I got, I think it was 4 new benches to be put up there, and an 18 slot bicycle rack. And then our, match is, we had a, water bottle filling station in one of our sheds somewhere. So they're gonna, city guys are gonna pipe in a water fountain up to the courts, so we'll have water up there. And the porta potty should be delivered any day now. So we'll get that taken care of up there. And that's it for the grants.
Up to this Minnesota multi-purpose one. Where's the library at sitting for money? Like total? Like, can we just give them the thumbs up and say, go build something?
That'd be great, but it
Like, can we
doesn't,
start looking into doing something? Just
well,
go,
and that's where I was saying, nobody's working on this project right now. Because I've been the one working on it, Rebecca and Courtney, and now Jamie's gonna be part of that, have been the ones working on it. And we got as far as getting plans that we had drawn up and looked at and everything, and then it's almost like people can't agree. It's like, they have the money where they could build now, but everybody else wants this big building with a multi-purpose with the apartments above, where half of our community is saying, just build and get it started, and the other half is like, oh, but having those apartments would be great.
Have they even talked to any contractors about anybody being interested in building?
Oh, not that I know of.
Brickell Brothers, Weezer Brothers,
Not that I
Charles
know of.
Anderson.
I can't speak for
Fowler and
Courtney.
Hammer, anybody.
Right, I can't speak for her because she's off on maternity leave, she maybe has, but I don't know of any, and I haven't.
so who do we, does the library has a board, right?
I mean, after
We
our
just
meeting
met, yeah.
tonight, I kind of feel like everybody would like to see it get moving too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think part of the holdup was Courtney being on maternity leave. So yeah, I think we're waiting for, it's time to set up another meeting probably is where we're at, like the architects are kinda waiting on us and
We're at a
we can go
standstill.
forward, yeah.
I just don't wanna see money start going backwards, because we can't do something with
Well, I did talk with Weezer, and they said that they could build a really nice, beautiful library like they did in, was it Whitehall, Wisconsin? And that one's beautiful, and they said they built that for 1.2 million, and I'm like, you already have that. I'm like, you can start building it right now, but it doesn't fit the narrative of what a group of people want, which is like, well, you can't build that, because how are you gonna put apartments above it? Cause that structure.
Okay, so that's
Is
1.2
unfair.
million,
What-
that you can't do that. How much do you have? You have more than that. So,
Right.
But 9 million, 10 million is the other plan.
right, but I'm just saying, if it's
But
1.2
so-
million for one you can't build on,
Yeah.
so maybe it's 3 million for one that you can build up on.
We
Can
could have a
we- can
figure
we
go
for that, I
back
can't
to
remember what
this
it was
just
though.
being-
Yeah.
Instead of like all of the parties involved, if it's just a library deal, can't the library kind of decide, hey, we're gonna put this up? I mean, then it just comes back to them, the library,
They
instead of
absolutely
all of
could.
these organizations that are like, we wanna do this, or we want apartments here,
They
we want
absolutely
this.
could do that, but, nobody's doing it, and, they don't own the property, so they can't, they have to work a plan out with the people who own the property, but the people who own the property, I think, have a bigger vision.
Like contingencies basically on how they want it to see, what they want it to be.
Maybe. It could be worked on, but we just gotta get them people
Another
together.
meeting. Have another
So
meeting.
all the grants go with that address, though,
It goes,
directly to
Yes.
that address, just not a Spring Grove library.
no, well, I think Courtney had it worked out that some of them, it's gotta be that address.
Okay.
Cause some were supposed to go to the movie theater and she got that switched to downtown. Because the location switched.
Yeah. The library. Just
Okay,
go do
I'm all
it.
in.
Go do it.
Yeah, I think we gotta get, setting up another meeting so we can move forward on that too.
So, like,
Yeah.
Courtney's gonna be back here in May. I think she's a really vital piece and we're not too far away from her coming back.
I'll be doing a couple weeks of training when I start next week, cause I'm not officially here on, as your seated person tonight, but just kinda unofficially.
Getting into it?
Yeah, so, once I get in and learn where everything's at, then we'll kind of regroup and be able to move forward once, because, you know, I'm not positive in what capacity Courtney will be coming back as a Spring Grove person. She'll definitely be my go-to for a while, but then after that, I'm guessing I'll be your main person. So once the dust settles a little bit with me starting officially, then we can really barrel forward.
And I think a good meeting to have would be the real estate investors who own the property, the library and probably city council to just be like, what do you want? What do you want? What can actually happen? Cause that stuff isn't happening right now.
Right.
And a lot of it was, Courtney was kind of the go-between back then and she's not here. So that's why some things aren't happening, but, we also need to get that, foundation set up to get funds to put into that. That's another huge piece of it, so we can get the rest of that money that people wanna donate.
I'd like to see something, wheels start turning on it by the end of the year, or something, you know? That's-
It'll have, wheels will start turning way before that.
Well, one of those
yeah.
grants, I, not this one, but the other one, there was some kind of a
There's time.
stipulation that for this fall, or I don't remember.
I have, one of them is up at June 30th, and so I already got that one in motion to get that one's gonna be taken care of. But that's the only thing that worries me when I sit here and I see things not moving or the meeting's not happening. I get the biggest, highest anxiety on the planet because I know how long it takes to do stuff, and eventually we're gonna start losing this money that these girls have worked to get. I hate to see, like right now, I know they can build a library. And I hate
Right.
to see us lose it all and not
But
get
you got
anything.
contractors too out there that, I'm sorry, I'm booked up, you know, they got a schedule too, it's like, well, we could probably build it the spring of, or fall of 26, well, then we've lost all that money and something too, so it's like, you
So
know.
is there any, I guess, just to get moving ahead, is there any interest in the council wanting City Hall to be involved in that conversation down there anymore? Is that still something that they
Originally,
need
the
to
way
be
they had it
originally
set up,
looking at?
I think some of the funds, if I remember how Courtney explained it, some of the funds could be donated towards the library and for like city purposes or whatever, but many people don't like to donate to the city, cause they feel like we have a lot of money already. If we had to go down there, sure, we're fine with it, but if it makes more sense to not go down there, none of us at the city are gonna be upset.
I'm just like, the council, do you guys still, is that something you wanna? I feel like it's a lot simpler project without the city down there. I mean, I feel like it could move forward faster,
Right,
but it's, I mean, we might as well take our hat kind of out of the ring if we're,
I think a lot of it came down to though, they wanted the city and the library to make it a bigger footprint for them to build a bigger foundation for the apartments up above. So I think that's why we were all thrown into it.
right, and so how much, so you got this open hall from here to here, how much is that library taking, that whole space?
That'd be one, was it one lot? Is that what we were looking at?
I mean,
Yeah,
I think it was just one lot would be the library.
so then there'll be part of an empty hole yet too?
So our grant money that
Yeah.
Courtney's got has to go specifically to the fire site. And then you have the lot where Megan Jones was, and that's not part of the original grants that she wrote. So if anybody's gonna build like a mixed-use building, it has to go in the fire site spot. So if you build the library over in the other one and save this, maybe somebody else would wanna build a different building with some apartments above it. They can maybe do that, but that's the only lots that money can be used for is right there. So it just makes more sense to put the library, if they were to go on their own, over in the other lot that isn't part of that.
Was
Yeah.
there talk at one point about having it be like a community center? Library, community center,
Kind of, yeah,
something?
community center, like, or not
Kinda
a
like what
community
Lanesboro
center.
has?
No,
Or no?
no.
Okay,
No.
I was
just the
just
fact
curious.
that like we were gonna have like a large meeting room where like, if City Hall was involved, like for city council meetings
Sure.
and some small meeting rooms.
Like a room like this that both the city hall and library could use together. Cause like right now I have to lug in stuff, it'd be nice to just have it there, but like I said, we've all talked about it at the city and we're fine where we're at. If it makes sense for us to go down there, we'll go down there, yeah, it'd be great to have a new
So what-
office, but
What was the original, you had two blueprints kinda, basically, or two ideas
we had a couple
of
different
the-
ones, and then it got whittled down to like our wants and needs of what, the library needs more space. And then it ended up, it just worked out better that, the library was on the Main Street level and City Hall was in the basement level. So basically you enter City Hall from the alleyway, which the alleyway, there's plans on beautifying that too, it's not gonna just stay the old grungy thing that it is. So City Hall would be in the basement because originally they wanted us all up on the same level. And there's some people that maybe come into City Hall that you don't want next to kids at a library. So we're like, you know what, we're better off just kinda splitting that up and keeping that separation.
So maybe you need to go back to the drawing board and come up with 2-3 more ideas.
Well, we got,
Blueprints,
we do
plans,
have,
or something.
we do have blueprints.
Different scenarios of what could be here and what could be there.
Right, but those cost a lot of money.
I can draw you a picture right here.
I know.
4 walls.
We do have several things that, what's their names? That we went through. The loop-
Ryan,
Ryan-
ISG,
yeah,
Ryan
ISG.
and-
They do have several different options, and basically they put it like this and tell you, oh, you can make it like that, or you can split them up.
You
or
can
put 'em on
tweak this,
top of
you
each
can
other.
tweak that.
Yeah,
you
so
can
they-
tweak this wall here.
They kinda have a lot of them where you can fiddle around with them. I even printed them and cut them apart. And
Which they recommended we did,
Yeah.
yeah. We have enough drawings that can easily now be modified with small
Yeah.
tweaks, like we've done we've
Yeah.
done most of the work on it, now it's a matter of fine tuning it,
yeah,
but we wouldn't have to start
no,
from scratch.
because we've
Wow.
had many meetings to determine like, what does the city, or the library need? And if the city was there, what do we need? Well, we need a safe. Well, where do you want it? Back there? Like, no, right here, because we're in, I mean,
Mhm.
so we already whittled all the little pieces down to how you want it to look. But, it's
Well, that's a
just,
step in the right direction.
it's just the rest of it of, is it just gonna be one building? Is it gonna be the big building? I think that's a conversation that we just all need to get together with Jamie and the library and the real estate group and council, and everybody just sit down and be like, here's our money, this is what we got.
What can we do, where do we expect it to go?
Yeah.
Alright. Moving on to zoning permits.
How did we get on that topic?
He moved back up to the
I moved
Oh,
up
okay.
past
this
the
community
library.
grant.
Okay, zoning permits, I think there's just 2 of them. Nothing out. There's nothing out of the ordinary.
Dan Albert for a deck, Isaac and
Oh,
Lauren
that's right.
Sullivan for an addition to
Yeah, the back of their house. And-
home and demo at the Farmers Bend Co-op.
Yeah.
Are they taking down the building or what are they?
Mhm. The
Oh.
old
Fertilizer building.
fertilizer building is coming down.
I'll make a motion to approve those.
We don't need to approve it, it's just FYI, in case you see the building coming down and you're like, do they have a permit for that? They do. Yeah. Okay, so then we have, if we could do the number 18 that I added.
Oh, yeah,
For,
Kraus.
yeah, so Kraus Anderson is the company that's remodeling the school. And they stopped in and their first ask is, can they get a variance to start working at 6 o'clock in the morning? Cause our ordinance states 7 currently. And, it would be from June 1st through August 15th. So they're hoping they can work 12 hours, 6 AM, 6 PM,
Which part of the building?
the whole building.
Yeah, they're in all of it now.
Oh,
It's all over, from what he was saying.
What, how many, so do they want 4-day weeks too, or what? Or is it 5 days a week? That's a lot
I
of
don't know how many
overtime.
days a week, but whatever days they're working.
Well, I mean, we're not paying them, we just need to approve that they can work before 7 AM.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't see a problem.
Which good on them for actually looking into see if you have an ordinance on that, cause I don't think I would've thought of that, but that's, I'd be fine with that.
Alright, we're gonna make a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second
all in favor say aye.
it.
Aye. All opposed?
And we'll just let city workers know if anybody calls in complaints that, or if people watch us on YouTube or read the minutes, then they'll know. Their second ask is, alright, you can see my drawing, here's the school, here's the Trinity Center. Right along here where the parking area is, they're wondering if they could fence off 10 feet. So, cause they're gonna have cranes and everything, and they don't wanna have just cones, cause people just walk right through their work zone. So they wanna put a fence along there while they're working, so they can have all their stuff contained on the inside. And
And where's that?
here's the Trinity Center, and
Yeah.
here's the school,
No,
right along the parking here.
in front of the school then.
Yep. They said that it's gonna leave the road open 25 feet, because my concern was, can big farm equipment still get through there?
Yeah, and I don't wanna see them coming all the way up to the curb because you can't see around there anyways.
Yeah.
Like if they were
That's
set
already-
back, like, I'd say if they could be set back even like to this sidewalk here, because we're all of this, it's already blue and handicap parking here, but you can't see around anything when you're coming out of that turn.
Okay.
That's gonna basically be down to one-way traffic there then.
Yeah.
Can we,
On that,
can we
and that's
temporarily
tight.
put the other side as no parking?
Well, that's the next ask after that is, they have a big 40-foot Conex box that they wanted to put in these parking spots over here. So the road, the road,
No.
because the road is gonna be 20 feet wide, 25 feet wide. They said if tractors meet each other, they should be able to get through, but one could have to
No,
stop.
yeah, they can't get through there the way it is when there's parking on both sides after school, that's no way.
I think you could give them the fenced off area. I've been on job sites with kids around. I want
Oh,
the
absolutely.
fenced off area is great.
Absolutely, but that box is
Stay
not.
back from the corner so we can see, but the other side I don't.
Yeah, it's hard to make a corner there, you can see trucks.
Okay, so let's take one at a time. So the first one is the fence on this side.
I would say the fence could go all the way from the north corner to the last, where that last sidewalk is, that comes outdoor.
How long are they gonna be, how long is this project supposed to last?
June 1st, August 15th.
That's not too bad, I was gonna say, next thing they're gonna want is a job trailer on site too.
Oh, that's out back, that's.
They already
in-
have that.
Oh, they are, that's,
That's over here.
That's in the, well, yeah.
But that's on the one way.
yeah, I knew that was going too.
Okay, so I have Morgan approves from the north corner to the last door.
Not the last door, cause the
No,
last door would be
I mean,
opposite,
I know what you meant,
but
like
like
that
the,
one.
yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Door number what?
I don't even know what any of the door numbers are. They weren't numbered when I was in school. I think it's like, does it start at the office?
I know what you're talking about, I'll just tell them.
Yeah, it might be like,
I'll go up there with them.
I don't know. I think the gym is door 6, that's about the only thing I know.
Is there a second?
A second.
Any discussion? I think
It may need to be tweaked.
if it needs tweaking on that, if they need to go longer for a day, but then bring it back in, like.
Okay.
Depending on how the crane's set up and the crane size, they may,
Or depending on if they're doing these windows today and
yeah,
to get them done and then you pull it back out.
yeah. And I think you can work
I'm
with
just
them on
saying for
that.
like permanent
Yeah.
fence, if you're gonna keep it there the whole summer, that's not.
So, all in favor?
Right,
Aye. All opposed?
Next one is Conex box.
No comment, box.
What's it called?
The Conex
Conex
box.
box.
CONNEX.
It's a shipping
big
container.
metal container.
Can I get a motion from somebody?
I will make a motion to not approve that.
I'll make a second.
Any discussion or, I just.
Are they
it's-
gonna come back to us before they do wanna place it? I mean, are they gonna move it? And
They're
I'm
gonna
just
find-
wondering, should we offer them a different size or
Take
just
a
not?
nice lot,
Can
I'll
put it?
rent them.
I'll send them your way.
Tell him it was his motion.
Yeah.
No.
Well, they got that whole street going all the way down to the ball field. I don't know how far down they plan on going.
They're union workers, they ain't walking all the way down that street. They'd have to
Right,
have golf carts for
right. I
that.
know, I was a union worker.
Well, they're gonna ask for golf carts next.
Yeah.
Transportation,
Yeah.
data.
Get the Able bus over there for you.
Oh my God.
Alright, all in favor of no Connex?
I,
Aye. Any, all opposed? Okay. Is that it for them?
That's it for that.
Moving on to ordinance and policies.
So we have a chapter 105, which is electric, and we were thinking about adding our solar rates onto the electric, because that's where we'll probably look to find it. We have, I don't know if anybody's noticed, but we have solar going in, Kaplinger's got it, the school's gonna be having solar there, and we have one, maybe two other houses that are gonna be putting solar in soon. So we need to get all of our rates into our ordinance, so
So what's that mean? It's gonna be more on everybody's electric bill or what?
I can't answer that. You need to talk to Lynn.
That's what I'm getting out of it.
I can't answer that. I don't answer solar questions. Honestly, I don't,
Doesn't it technically
because
go back
that's my
into our
energy
grid?
job. That's not my job.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't say that rudely, but Ken Wincombe told me, you will never remember all of this, so if you have any questions about the solar, you call Ken. And I direct every person that calls about solar to Ken, and he's totally fine with that.
I don't
And-
care who has solar. I don't know if my electric rates are gonna go up because I don't have solar because somebody else has solar. You know, why should I be paying?
Right.
Why should my rates go up because you choose to go solar?
Right now, they're
Our
the same.
electric rates are high enough as it is.
They're the same exact rate now, and they get paid out once a year. They still have connection fees to the grid system. It just depends at the end of the year if they have a positive account or a negative account. They could, each month, they could have $4 that we owe them this month, and next month they might owe the city $13. So it's not, we don't know what it's gonna be yet because we haven't done it. So until we get through the whole process for 1 year, like we have to budget next year in case we have to pay out. We have no idea what to budget because we've never been through it. So we're just kind of gauging what other cities have done.
I'm just saying, you take a questionnaire about people in town, would you like to see your electric rates go up so that people are gonna have solar? I can tell you, guarantee you what the answer's gonna be on that.
Unless you want solar.
You know?
It's a hot topic this week, so I'm treading lightly on this one.
So with that, we're still gonna keep that they can put solar on the ground too in town?
Yep, because we just put an ordinance in last year to allow solar
On the ground?
on the ground or on a roof.
Scott Crowell's probably just cheesing, huh?
Is that you?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm gonna recommend that you approve this because we currently have solar right now and we have to have it on our billing sheets in our ordinances. So if we don't have it in our ordinances,
Then just bill them whatever you want.
no,
Make
it
sure we make money on it.
no, it does not work that way. Or they could just not pay us because we don't have it. So I suggest that you approve it so we can get money for what is out there.
oof.
I'm not making them push it.
If you don't, they're just gonna have it they're not gonna pay anything.
So is that just the standard what everybody else is doing? Is what?
Yes. We have been mostly following what Caledonia's doing, because they have been doing it for a little while. So Lynn has been working with them over there on the billing portion of it, but the rates right now on here, if you look at it, all the ones in yellow are the ones we're adding. If you go to the page before it, they're exact same rates. It's not like they're getting any difference, it's just, we don't know what their system is gonna do until after it doesn't. And then this equals out later.
So
But if we don't have this in our ordinance,
We can't even figure out what we.
it doesn't
are doing.
exist. Which means technically, I argue, I don't have to pay, you don't have it in your ordinance.
I think we gotta put something in and then come back to it next year and see what it costs us or
Yeah,
makes
see
us,
what
and
it's
then
gonna
we'll have
cost
to
us
do
at
it
the end of
then.
the year to
Yeah.
pay out.
That's exactly where we're at, because we've never been through it, so we have no answers, because we don't know. And we're not gonna know until after we get through the first year. Or at least get 6 months or so under our belt, I know, and be a full year, depends on the time of the year too.
And then what are we gonna tell them? No, it's too high, yank them solar panels out of there.
What if they have a cloudy year or sunny year?
Not my problem.
Anybody have a motion? We gotta do something on it, guys.
Not the answers.
Well, if you do nothing,
I'll make a motion to approve it as is.
yeah, if you do nothing,
Yeah.
they don't have to pay it.
Yeah, we have to do
Right.
something.
So
Yeah,
we
we
have
gotta-
to get it in our
We can look at it.
ordinance.
We can
It's
look
not-
at it.
If you make it higher, then we end up paying out more if it's a higher rate.
I highly don't recommend doing that right now.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying, that's what I mean, like, if we
I'm
adjust
already
it,
catching heat like no other.
if we adjust it, we're gonna pay out more, or if we bring it down lower, we're gonna look like we're favoring, it doesn't, I just keep it the same.
I would highly recommend you don't change anything right now because it's new and people are hot about our fees already.
Uh-huh.
Like hot. We've
Yeah.
been getting yelled at quite often and poor Lynn, God bless her. She should be getting $125 an hour for what she's gone through,
I
so.
pay for stuff on that electric bill I haven't used in the whole time I've lived here. Just saying.
You're not the only person who said that. We hear it weekly.
I made a motion.
I'll second it.
Any discussion on it?
After this next year, we can review it again and look at it.
Yep, I'll second it with
Yeah,
the
well,
fact that
then
it gets
motion
looked
that
at.
we're gonna address it in a year.
Cause then we'll have the information to make
Should we do it
informed decisions.
6 months so we can figure into when we do the budget for next year?
Well, we
Or
can
is 6
try.
months not long enough?
Well, it depends on where the sun's at all year. I'm guessing, I am not a solar person, but I'm guessing it's where the sun's at all year round, wouldn't it be? Might
Yeah,
change.
summer would be your better solar part of the year, Jenna.
So far we've been
That's what
lucky.
you're asking.
So
Yeah.
far
There's
we've been
more
lucky
solar
with the
power.
sun being around every day.
Well, at least if you went out the summer months,
I mean, then we'd have a higher estimate
Right.
of what we're, yeah, so let's
if what he
check back.
says is correct.
Let's check back in 6
Let's check back in
months.
6 months, we'll reevaluate.
Oh my gosh. I told ya, I tell every person that applies, we are so wet behind the ears on this. We do not know the ins and outs, be patient with us. Call My Energy, they know all the answers. And if we could just get through one, we haven't even been through one yet. To like get through the process so we know what we're doing before other ones start, but
Yeah.
we're not. And so it's all being thrown at us and you have all these questions and like, we don't know.
I was
We've never
gonna
done
put
this before.
solar on my roof 10 years ago and I couldn't get one answer
Oh, it's,
from
it's.
anybody.
It's so hard, and the
Just gave
people
up.
who are putting the solar in are already so smart. They already know more answers than I do, so I'm like, I'm not much help.
So we're done.
Yeah, I'm like, you tell me, try it.
Alright, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Mayor, council? Anything?
We just have our next meeting on May 20th at 6 p.m.
Okay. Meeting reports? EDA. I think we're all there, weren't we? Oh, no, Eric's on and Sammy Boyd is now on the EDA board.
Who is?
Sammy Boyd. And then Eric has filled Heather's spot, so. Is there anything else really at that meeting?
Hmm?
I think that was the majority of it.
Yeah.
We just looked through the minutes, financials, and hired parts. You have any numbers?
Oh, parks. Flower pots, there's two that are left unadopted. They're, by the Trinity Center and Merchants Bank. Jana said she would take care of them by walking by and dumping your water bottle on them.
That's true.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to adopt them, they are available. Media wants to contact us, what was that about again, Jana?
For what?
The media said they might be contacting us
Oh.
for something.
About our tennis courts,
Oh, yeah,
because we redid our tennis courts, so they wanna do some story on it.
yeah. Outdoor recreational grant was submitted. I think this was for Trolls Scoggin Park, we're waiting to hear back on that. Waiting to hear back on the Community Roadside Landscape Partnership Program application. That's been submitted. We talked about the damaged trees on Main Street, and the benches and that Jana received. Bike path, we haven't heard back on that. Porta potties should be there soon up at by the swimming pool. And somebody's complaining that the Viking Park log cabin doors are too bright.
They recommended wrapping
Recommended.
doors
Yeah.
to blend into the building better.
I don't know, anything else?
I think that's not good.
Planning and zoning,
Yeah, pretty much we just went over all those applications for the Lauren Solom and Dan Albert's deck and,
Oakses,
yeah.
yeah, simple. Library have anything?
Never really nothing really major, just, we did have a lot of discussion about that, where things are at with that build, you know, answers wise, but, otherwise, not a whole lot.
Okay,
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sweet.